You already know that I'm deep into the IEM world. I'm deep into DACs, headphones, DAPs, all that stuff. But I haven't done too many amplifiers in the past, but we are doing one today. And in this video, I'm doing the Fosi Audio TB10D stereo amplifier. Let's get it. What's cracking, audio fans? It's David here from Prime Audio Reviews. So here it is, the Fosi Audio TB10D. And let me tell you, the price of this is just $79. So this is a super budget stereo amp. And you're probably thinking, $79? How much power can you get for that? Well, let me tell you, 600 watts. That's 300 watts per channel. That number is probably exaggerated. You know how this market speak works. It probably doesn't quite reach that, at least not with reasonable distortion levels. But I can tell you right now, it's got loads and loads of power. But before we get into that, if you like audio content like this, you probably want to consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you like it, give it a like as well. It helps out the channel a lot. Let's have a look at the chassis. On the front, you can see there's a nice little power switch there, and then we've got some tone controllers. We've got a treble dial and a bass dial. There's a nice weight on all the knobs. The volume included. It's very smooth. It's not stepped. It's a fully analog control. Now around on the back, you've got your RCA line in and then your speaker bindings, and that's about it. Of course, it does come with a little power pack. Well, I've read that you can't get that full 600 watts of power with the included power pack, but I tell you what, I don't even care, because this thing has got way more power than what I need for my speakers. I should mention that this is the sort of the second edition of the TB10D. There was an earlier version, and some people sort of had complaints about it. It was a bit noisy, it wasn't great. But Fosi Audio seems to be a company that's highly focused on their customer feedback, and they take criticism seriously, and they take action on it. So they've actually released a second edition of this, which I have, and supposedly they have improved those issues from the first one. And I didn't hear the original version, but I can tell you, this is a pretty sweet little amp. So inside we've got Texas Instruments TPA3255 amplifier chips. And if you are familiar with the amplifier world, you know those TPA chips, amplifier chips, are pretty sweet. I like the way that the speaker bindings are kind of have a bit of space between them, even though it's a small unit. I didn't have any trouble plugging in my speakers, mostly because I use banana clips, but apart from that, you know, it's pretty good. So the overall build is quite satisfying for such a budget product. Just looking at it and holding it, you wouldn't expect it to be a super budget item. Okay, so to test this guy, I hooked it up with my faithful, my trusty NHT C3 carbon speakers. Love those. And for the DAC, I used the Topping E70 for a bit, and I also used the SMSL C200. Both combinations worked perfectly with the TB10D. Both delivered robust power, and overall it left me really thoroughly impressed. Even with the volume cranked up, the sound remained clear. And on top of those NHT speakers, I also paired this up with my ELAC B6 Debut. Now they are kind of a warmer speaker, so they shouldn't have worked well with this, and we'll get into that in a minute, but they did. I'm getting ahead though. I got to tell you about the sound of this one. Look, despite the budget-friendly price tag, this little amp does not skimp on performance. Tell you straight up. It's clear that this little guy can hold its own against much more expensive amplifier models. But what sets the TB10D apart is its warm and calm presentation, which belies the powerful sound that it's capable of producing. It's not the most energetic amplifier out there in terms of sort of treble response, but it makes up for that with its smooth, rounded and softened treble notes. This gives it a unique personality that sets it apart from more neutral amplifiers. One thing of note is that the TB10D isn't entirely transparent or neutral, so if you're looking for a really neutral or high fidelity kind of sounding amplifier, then you might need to look elsewhere. Don't worry about that, it's just some peanuts that I was eating earlier. Got into my peanuts. This amp has a distinct character that I myself find really appealing, and I'm sure a lot of people will find appealing, but others, like I said, may prefer a more neutral sound. However, it's the character that makes the TB10D stand out from other budget amplifiers, and it gives it its own unique sound signature. So it's on the warmer side of neutral. It's got this lovely warm kind of inviting presentation. It is still, however, resolving and detailed. The soundstage is good too. When it comes to soundstage, this guy provides a nice wide and detailed soundstage with good instrument separation, good imaging throughout, so good for positional cues and determining the position of instruments and the distance where they are in the soundstage. And look, honestly, it is a fantastic little device. Although I know a lot of people appreciate really neutral and transparent amplifiers. However, if you've got some speakers that are slightly brighter in their tonality, or they're very, very neutral or slightly on the analytical side, this kind of amp is going to be perfect. So something, for example, a speaker with a little bit aggressive in the treble, this is going to tone that down a bit without really losing any detail. It's still a fantastically detailed and resolving amplifier. It performs extremely well. Honestly, I'm kind of blown away that you can pick this up for $79. Like, that is less than, or it's the same price as a Moondrop Aria in-ear monitor or earphones. It's less than you pay for a lot of dongle DACs, but the amount of power in this thing is astonishing. Of course, I didn't mention, but it's a Class D. You probably knew that if you're versed in amps. So it doesn't get hot at all. It doesn't consume a whole lot of power, but it does put out a lot of power. And overall, I think this is an absolutely brilliant and really good value amp. Going to wrap it up there, guys. Thanks for watching the video. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up, Parfam audiophile style. Check out the description below. I've got links to the written review and all my social media, etc. Got a Patreon set up if you want to support the channel. If you're new to the channel and you want to see more content like this, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until next time, I'll see you later.